The first aspect, the experience of Abraham. In this message, we need to see the first aspect of the complete experience of God's called ones. This aspect is fully shown in Abraham's life. This is quite basic. Abraham's life is an illustration of the first aspect of the complete experience of God's called ones. His experience goes from being called through the living by faith in fellowship to the knowing of grace. Called. In his experience, Abraham firstly was called by God. As we have seen, God's calling was not originated or initiated by the called ones. It was initiated by the God who called. God was the originator of his calling, the motive and strength, as God's calling did not originate with the called one, but with the God who calls. So the motive and strength to receive God's calling did not originate from the side of the called one, but from the side of the calling one. The motive and the strength whereby Abraham could answer God's calling came from God himself. What was this motive and strength? If we look into the situation in a detailed way, we can see three things that motivated Abraham to accept God's calling: God's appearing, God's calling, and God's promise. Now we need to consider each of these items. God's appearing. The first aspect of the motive and strength to accept God's calling was God's appearing. If I were to come to you, it would mean nothing because I am nothing. If the President of the United States were to pay you a personal visit, you would be very excited. Probably you would be unable to sleep for a whole night. But who came to visit Abraham? The God of glory. Outside of Stephen's word in Acts chapter 7 verse 2, when Stephen told his persecutors that the God of glory appeared to their father Abraham. There is no other verse in the Bible that says that the God of glory appeared to Abraham. While Stephen was speaking, the Jesus of glory appeared to him. The heavens were opened, and he saw Jesus in glory standing on the right hand of God. Stephen was bold to die for Jesus because while they were opposing him, he saw the Lord Jesus. The people stoned him, but Jesus smiled at him. Because the Lord appeared to him, it was easy, even a great joy, for him to undergo persecution. There was no comparison between that persecution and the appearing of Jesus in glory. Because Stephen was in such a situation, the Jesus in glory appeared to him. Without such an appearing, his environment would have been too difficult for a human being to take. In the same principle, the God of glory appeared to Abraham, paying him a visit with his personal appearance, because at that time Abraham was under the influence of a strong background in Chaldee. As we shall see in the next message, Chaldee in Hebrew means demonic. Chaldee was a demonic place, a place full of demons. Joshua chapter 24 verse 2 says that Abraham and his family served other gods. They worshipped idols, and behind the idols were demons. Chaldee was in a land called Mesopotamia. The word Mesopotamia means between rivers. According to geography, the region of Mesopotamia was bound by two great rivers, the Euphrates, Parath in Hebrew, and the Tigris, Hiddekel in Hebrew. Between these two rivers was a great plain, the land of Mesopotamia. Chaldee was a part of Mesopotamia. This means that Abraham's dwelling place was not only in a place full of demons, but also in a place that was enclosed by two great rivers. It was very difficult for him or any other person to leave such a place, for the demons held him and the great rivers enclosed him. Since there was no modern transportation, the people had to walk. How was Abraham able to get out of Chaldee? Since his background was so strong, God appeared to him in order that he might come out of it. This is a picture, an illustration of our situation before we were saved. We all were in a Chaldee. All the young people need to realize that every junior high school is a Chaldee, a place filled with demons. So many of the students are little demons selling drugs and trying to hold you back, saying, "How can you be different from us? If you want to be different from us, where shall you go? There are two great rivers that keep you here. You must stay with us." Sometimes the husbands are demons to the wives, and the wives are demons to the husbands. As far as the worldly people are concerned, whenever a young man gets married, he enters into a demonic region. The same is true for every young woman who marries. Consider the example of a young man who falls in love with a certain young lady. This young woman has a tremendous background composed of a great many relatives and friends, all of whom are demonic. If this young man were to marry her, he would fall into a demonic region. If he came to me, I would say, "Don't think that this young lady is so pretty, nice, and kind. You must look into her background. You are not only marrying her, you are marrying her with her whole background." After you marry a girl with such a demonic background, you will find yourself in Sheldon. The demons there will hold you. But God has chosen this young man. Do not think that it will be easy for him to believe in the Lord Jesus and be saved. It is not a matter of being saved and waiting to go to heaven. No, in the Bible, to be saved is to be called out of your background, region, and environment. You need to get yourself out.